Welcome back everyone. Today we'll be discussing the Jordan 4 Military Black. Specifically, we'll be discussing some release info, how to cop, and of course, some resale predictions at the end of the video. The Jordan 4 Military Black will finally be releasing on May 21st after multiple delays. Retail is $210 for men's sizes and $140 for grade school. Stock between all sizes combined worldwide is just over 100,000 pairs, which is about average for a Jordan 4, so don't expect these to be easy to get given their demand. Regarding resale, we will cover that towards the end of the video as always. Specifically for this how to cop, we'll be going in chronological order along with exactly how to efficiently manage your time and set up for this drop, since a lot's going to be going on at once. Prior to discussing the first come first serve drops though, remember I will always post the full site list on my Twitter, KeithAdam10, and personals for you, along with any urgent updates such as exclusive access. Also, please make sure that you don't forget to sign up for Flex app reservations. This is one of the best ways to get pairs, as well as even asking your local foot stores about their procedure for the leftover in-store ones. But now, moving on to online first come first serve sites, we'll start with the US sites in chronological order and then move to the Europe ones afterwards. At 8 a.m. Eastern Time, we may be seeing undefeated drop unless they do announce the drop for 11 a.m. Eastern Time, which they have been doing every once in a while recently. But before either of these times, make sure you are signed into your undefeated account, as it is required on this site to check out. Be ready to solve a checkpoint captcha as well. If you don't have access to a Shopify monitor, you can try refreshing the search page for AJ4, but your chances of copying will be slim. Now, moving on to the confirmed 10 a.m. Eastern Time drops, this is where the actual fun begins as usual. Since there is a lot to focus on, I'm going to guide you and suggest to you how to efficiently manage your time. First, I would suggest going for Hibbett as your first come first serve site of choice at exactly 10 a.m. Eastern Time, since Hibbett will be one of the ones to sell out quickly, but it does tend to be the one with the best chance. This is what I've been suggesting recently, and it's been going very well, so we won't change this up just yet. You might get the press and hold captcha loop though, so just some tips to prevent this loop, just like we discussed in the prior how to cop guide. Go to the coming soon page on the Hibbett calendar right before 10 a.m., click the Jordan 4, then scroll down slowly until you see the sizes. If you do scroll too quickly, you'll likely end up getting caught in that captcha loop when the perimeter X protection is too high. My biggest advice in general here though is to use Apple Pay on your mobile device for the most efficient checkout, or as an alternative to Hibbett, you could also choose to go for a Shopify site, as those are also first come first serve. If I had to pick two of these for you, it would typically be DTLR or Jimmy Jazz, since Shop Nice Kicks and Shoe Palace, the shipping rates for them are relatively high. Regardless, both of these sites will still be harder than Hibbett in my opinion. In conclusion, your 10 a.m. first come first serve site should be Hibbett, but these are your alternatives if you do desire to go for them. But now, right after those first come first serve drops are over, or even while you're waiting in a Shopify queue, I want you guys to enter in as many sneakers accounts into the drop as possible. This is going to be your number one chance by far for copying these. But now, what's the most efficient way to cop off of Nike sneakers manually? Well, these are currently loaded as a Dan release. Dan drops are also known as draws. You essentially have 10 minutes to enter in as many of your accounts into the raffle as possible. Evidently, the more you can enter within that period, the better your chances will be. I actually made a full in-depth video on this, which I'd highly suggest watching because there is much more to it. After sneakers, you normally want to shift your focus onto periodically checking Finish Line, JD Sports, DSG, and Snipes to see if you have passed Q. Regarding Snipes, if you do pass the Q here, it is definitely possible to cop manually, but passing the Q is of course the hard part. In Gargantua AIO and Endurance, we do get bypass links, so it's often a manual cookout there, but it's still possible to pass naturally as well. But make sure you do follow the Endurance and Gargantua AIO Twitters if you're interested in restocks on those, however. But as of right now, Snipes does not have them loaded on their calendar, but of course, I do expect them to load as we do approach the drop as usual. Foot sites are definitely not worth your time at all. It's going to be impossible on those sites manually. When it comes to Finish Line and JD Sports, just open up one tab on each of them, as when it comes to those, they are very sensitive and you will likely get IP banned if you open up too many. They should also be doing exclusive access sometime very soon within the next few days, so be on the lookout for that. Of all these, I'd say DSG will actually be your best chance. I frequently see a large amount of manual cops here, so it's definitely worth opening up a few Chrome users on it. But regardless of what you choose to focus most of your attention on, make sure to open up tabs for these sites beforehand. You should set them up as soon as you see my account or personals for you tweet out the links. This way, they're already ready to go and waiting in queue after sneakers. Anyway, now moving on to the Europe sites. Although many Europe retailers are doing raffles for these as usual, there still are a couple of first come first serve sites to prepare for. First of all, you can try going for Foot District if you do have a verified account. If you don't worry about it. It is also extremely likely that Soulbox and Snipes will both be dropping around 9 a.m. CEST as usual, but sometimes it is 10 minutes before. Zalando and Courier should also be dropping, they just have not loaded yet. But most importantly, Nike sneakers should also be dropping at 9 a.m. CEST, although they're just not loaded on the launch calendar just yet. They should pop up within the next couple of days, as well as exclusive access going live relatively soon as well. They should also be loading as a Dan release, a draw, so you should have more than sufficient time to enter in. Then Offspring may also potentially drop these, but for Offspring, I would suggest enabling notifications on for their Instagram if you don't have access to a monitor. Whenever they do end up dropping, it's normally not around 9 a.m. CEST, it's usually just a random time, so just be on the lookout for those notifications. Foot Locker will also be dropping, but there isn't much manual chance here anyway, so that will conclude it for the how to cop portion of this video. Now with the how to cop out of the way, let's move on to resale predictions. First of all, stock on these is just about average for Jordan 4. Contrary to a pair like the Lightnings, you won't see these perform poorly due to the low stock. And when it comes to the demand, it is no question that demand on these is very impressive, not just for a Jordan 4, but for any Jordan. Presale and bids are holding up very well several days out from the drop, similar to what we saw before the Oreo 4 Jordan drop. Sale volume is even quite high, despite presale itself being high. Retail is 210 rather than 200, so that will of course hinder the margin slightly, but luckily it is not $225 like the Lightnings were. This 210 retail should still leave more than sufficient room for profitability with a good margin, especially in the large sizes. Personally, I am going full throttle on all sizes for these though regardless. I'll also be making a seller hold video on these the day before the drop, so make sure you do subscribe and enable post notifications. This way you're updated for that. But anyway, that will conclude it for today. Feel free to leave a like if you enjoyed, or perhaps if you learned a thing or two. Also, feel free to check out the links in the description below for reliable, fast, residential proxies and pre-verified Nike sneakers or Adidas accounts. Also, follow Endurance's Twitter for updates on restocks or key giveaways, and the same goes for Gargantua if you want to keep up with the progress or restocks. Last but not least, make sure to follow Keith, Adam, 10, and Personals for you. This way you guys stay updated, not urgent info like I was discussing today. With that though, I will see you guys later. Have a fantastic rest of your day. And of course, good luck on the release.